Hello and welcome back to Tony Northeastern, and I hope you're all keeping safe and looking after yourselves. So in this video we're going to be looking at the footbridge for South Shields, and this is the kit I have in mind for the footbridge. If you have been following these videos from day one, then you know that I've already made one of these, and it's over at High Shields, and here's the one I have made earlier. Right, I have borrowed this one from High Shields, and as you know I have made it exactly the same as the kit, apart from the colour changes of course. But when I built this one, it must have been about a year or so ago, there were some parts left over, and I kept those parts specifically for the South Shields footbridge, because I knew by looking at this one that although it covers the 3 tracks, I needed it to be longer. And as you can see in this photograph, the footbridge goes way back from the platform, and that's what makes this footbridge unique, because the steps go down in a straight line. You can see just about there where they finish, so it's a long hike, as you can see, to get to the top and then to come across and then back down again. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. So let's have a look at what I've done so far. And here it is. As you can see, I think I have got it just about right, and I am glad that I saved the pieces off the old bridge, this one, and kept them for this bridge. So what I've done so far is I've added the extra piece and stuck it in here, and you only get 2 smoke deflectors for the bridge, so I've had to make up a 3rd one here. And if you flip it over, you can actually see the white plastic card. And another thing I have done is, if you look at the footbridge this way on, you can see this piece here I have cut away to allow the steps to come straight through. So basically I made it up like this, left this piece out, and then notched that bit out, notched that bit of flooring out, then brought the steps right through. Now the only difference between this one and the one in the photograph so far is that it curves across the middle, but I'm not too fussed about that. Right, so I hadn't built this, or I made a start on this way back before I put the platforms in place, just to make sure I can get the set distances across from here to here, to the legs of the bridge, to the edge of the platform. Another thing I found, quick mention, is I just cannot find a photograph showing the colour of the bridge, but I have seen photographs of the pillars, the south shields, which are blue with red and then black on the bottom. So I think most northeastern bridges are red, but I'm going to leave it with blue, and I'm going to put the panels in which will be white, and then I'm going to put the handrail on in red. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like when it's finished. Right, here we are at the bench. I'm just about to paint the mesh panels. What I've done here is I've just mixed up some Humbrol matte and some Humbrol gloss to get a semi-matte finish. So we'll just paint this on. It's handy having these handy hands, and if you keep the bits that you want to paint inside your plastic kit bits, then it's a lot easier to paint rather than painting them individually, and it don't take long to give these a whitewash. And here is the two panels that were left over from the original footbridge that's now back at High Shields. So we'll just leave them to dry, and then we'll come back to them. So in the meantime, just a little quick job I'm going to do. I'm just going to make up a gate to go in this little gap here, just by using a couple of offcuts of old fencing that came off the bridge. So I'm just going to take one of these lattice works off to allow for the other post. So it should only take a few minutes, this little job, just to help. Yeah, that'll be fine. Just got to trim them back at the back. Hopefully that should allow for the other post. So I'll trim that post off of this bit, and then glue it onto this bit. And that should give me the width of the fence I need to put in there. It's close. Just taking the lattice works off the back. And glue that in. There you go, gate made in minutes. And that will fit in that gap lovely. Let's glue the other post on. Yep. And there we have it. It's not glued in place yet. Still waiting for the polystyrene cement to go off. But once that goes off, we can glue that in place and That's a nice little quick job while we're waiting for the paint to dry for the footbridge. Okay, we have returned back to the bench where we're going to continue to build this footbridge as per instructions. So basically all I'm doing now is just fitting the panels. So basically we're going to follow the kit as per instructions. Put very tiny amounts of glue on here. Like so. Right, I'm also using plastic weld as well. So I'm just putting very small amounts on. Yeah, I think that's going to make a good contrast between the blue and the white. And then once all these are glued on, I'll start cutting these back to put the handrail on. Okay, that's almost one side finished, and it's looking quite impressive. I do like the blue and the white. Seems to work quite well. If you flip the other side over, where I haven't quite started, there's a little line, and that's your marker where your panels go. But on the spare bit that I'd saved from the last kit, didn't have the line on, so I've had to gauge it by eye across and check to see if it lines up with the original lines, because this was the piece here that was saved, and just thought I'd mention that. Another thing as well, just make sure you remove all the little bits of flashing before gluing these in place, because they will interfere, because you've got very tight tolerances between these beams. Right, I don't know if you can see, but I've had to cut the angled panels to get them to fit in, and what I've done is I've added a little tiny bit of plastic card in there to cover the gap, because it just would not go in on both sides. So that's just but it's coming along, as you can see. I'm just going to touch them up with a bit of blue paint, and then still continuing as per instructions, but with slight modifications at this end of the footbridge. But yep, it's coming along. Right, now with those little bits of plastic card painted, you can actually see what the bridge looks like from the other side, because I was going to continue with the lattice work all the way through, but trying to chop a little piece and trying to stick it in there just wasn't going to work out at all, hence why I left it like that and just put a little bit of plastic card in. I have followed the instructions and put the handrails on for the footbridge now, and the only thing I've changed is I've added a little bit of plastic card to go across the top of this panel here and here, and a little bit of plastic card to go here and here, but I've still put the handrail on the inside, and I've just touched this up with a bit of red. So that's where we are up to now. So the next thing to do is to cut off all these long pieces which are not going to be used, and then put another piece of plastic card over the top of all the joints where these posts are, and then make the handrail as one long handrail. So that'll be the next job. And basically what I'm going to do is use a Stanley blade or use a sharp knife and just gently, slowly cut away from you, and eventually it will go. Feel it. And there it is, it's off. And what I'll do, once I've cut them all off, I shall sand them all down nice and flat, and then we'll look at finishing this last piece of the footbridge. I might have to do a little bit of touch up here and there where I've accidentally hit with the red onto the panels, but basically there's virtually no rework to do on the paint. I've had a right, now I've got all the edges of the posts absolutely flattened down to the original handrail. What I'm going to do now is just use a piece of evergreen scale models 2.5 to 0.25 strip, just to cover up all the post joints, and that should basically finish it off. And here is the stuff I'm actually going to use to cover up the posts. So I'm just going to make it to suit the shape of the inclines on the handrails, and just glue it on, and that should finish it off. So I have now measured the strip that's going to go on here, and I'm just going to put a nice even bead of polyurethane cement, and all the way down to the end. Just to cover up all those posts. But at this end, where the steps meet the landing, I have rounded off the strip ready, so you get a nice round edge on the end. So we shall start by sticking that there and then working our way back to the other side. And with this material being so thin, it just bends and suits the ups and downs of the panels if they're not 100% level. There you go, that's one done. So that's the handrails finished. There's just one thing left to do, and that's to paint the handrails. I'm going to paint it the same colour as the rest of the bridge, which is blue. And I've just got the undersides to do, which I'll do black. And then that'll be it. So the next time you'll see this will be on the layout. Converting this bridge from the kit was, I think, quite easy, but a little bit challenging in places, especially doing the long steps and trying to cut the panels to match the actual slope on the stairs. Hence why we put that little bit of plastic card in there just to tidy it up a little bit. But apart from that, yep, it's a bridge to goer almost. So I will do the finishing off with the paints, and then weather it as per the original bridge, which I've still got here, and then we'll see this on the layout next time. And here it is, it's all weathered and ready to go onto the layout. Well, it's already on the layout, but I'm not in position, and all I've done is I've just put the weathering on the lower halves of the bridge and right into the corners, and then just wiped it out as quickly as it's gone in. And I think that's all it needs. It doesn't need to be over the top. Just a very subtle finish. And there it is. It's finished. Took longer than I thought it was going to take. A little bit fiddly, I think. Yee, Tony, you've been very busy, lad. Yeah, tell me about it. I'm shattered. It's been a long video, this one. Right, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you soon. Stay safe. And that's all from me. And that's all from Tommy. Oi, oi. Bye for now. Bye.